You've been told demons come from hell. You've been told they were once angels who rebelled. But that's not the whole story. The real origins of demons trace back to an ancient book banned from the Bible, the Book of Enoch. This book, hidden for centuries, exposes a narrative so terrifying, so controversial, that the early church had no choice but to silence it. A story of angels who fell not because of pride, but because of lust. A tale of celestial beings who mated with human women and gave birth to giants, unnatural monsters who devoured everything in their path. The truth. Demons didn't fall from heaven. They were born here on earth, the cursed spirits of the Nephilim. And they still roam among us. The Book of Enoch, also called 1 Enoch, is an ancient Hebrew text that predates the birth of Christ. It was once considered sacred by early Jewish sects and the first generations of Christians. In fact, it's directly quoted in the New Testament in Jude 1 verses 14 to 15. But despite its early prominence, the book was excluded from the biblical canon by both Jewish and Christian authorities. Why? Because it reveals a disturbing cosmology. It describes angels as imperfect, fallible, and capable of grave sin. It speaks of secret knowledge, genetic corruption, and a divine race defying its own creator. The book was too radical, too dangerous, and too disruptive to theological order. So, it was banned. But not destroyed. Hidden copies survived in Ethiopia and among the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Book of Enoch refused to die. The Book of Enoch introduces a group of angels called the Watchers, heavenly beings sent to earth to guide and protect humanity. According to Enoch, these angels became enamored with the beauty of human women. Their leader, Semyaza, feared they would be punished alone, so he convinced 200 others to join him in a pact of rebellion. They descended to Mount Hermon and bound themselves with an unbreakable oath, to take mortal wives and bear children with them. This was not merely lust, it was a rebellion against divine order, a contamination of heaven's purity with earthly desire. Their descent was a betrayal not through war or pride, but through seduction. These angels, in their lust, violated the boundary between divine and mortal, spiritual and physical. It was the first great cosmic transgression. Once united in their pact, the Watchers began not only to sleep with women but to teach humanity secrets they were never meant to know. Each angel brought forbidden knowledge. Azazel taught humans how to make swords, shields, and armor, introducing warfare. Semyaza taught enchantments and root cutting, introducing sorcery. Others taught astrology, signs of the stars, and divination. This wasn't education. It was a spiritual corruption. Humanity began to lust after vanity, war, and power. Women adorned themselves with cosmetics. Men raised weapons against each other. The Watchers opened a floodgate of sin, changing the destiny of mankind. What began as lust turned into manipulation and mental enslavement. From these unholy unions came monstrous offspring, the Nephilim. These were not simply tall men or mythic warriors. According to Enoch, they were titanic, grotesque, and ravenous. Standing hundreds of feet tall, they consumed all of Earth's resources, and when the land could no longer feed them, they turned to humans. The Nephilim devoured animals, then people, then even each other. Their presence brought widespread suffering, bloodshed, and terror. They were physical abominations, hybrids that violated the laws of creation. They were not just a threat to humanity but an existential insult to divine order. The earth itself cried out under their weight and violence. The bloodshed and horror triggered a cosmic reaction. The cries of the earth reached heaven. The four archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, were sent to investigate. What they saw horrified them. Humanity was enslaved, corrupted, and dying under the reign of these giants. The angels reported back to the Most High, who decreed a cleansing judgment. The command was clear: destroy the Nephilim. Imprison the Watchers. Purify the earth with a great flood. It was not merely about sin, but about erasing a line of beings that should never have existed. The Great Flood was not only about Noah. It was about ending a hybrid bloodline. Of all the Watchers, Azazel was singled out for special judgment. He had taught humans warfare and vanity, two of the most destructive legacies. The archangel Raphael was ordered to bind Azazel hand and foot, cast him into a deep pit in the desert called Dudiel, and cover him with sharp stones and darkness. His face was hidden, his name cursed. He would remain imprisoned until the day of judgment. In later traditions, Azazel became the prototype for Satan himself, a celestial being fallen, imprisoned, and blamed for the corruption of the world. The other watchers were also punished. God commanded Michael to bind them beneath the hills and mountains of the earth in eternal darkness. These angels were forced to watch their children, the Nephilim, destroyed by heaven. They begged Enoch to intercede, to ask God for forgiveness. But God refused. The watchers had corrupted the creation they were assigned to protect. There would be no mercy. Today, some believe these angels remain imprisoned beneath volcanoes, mountain ranges, or the depths of the earth, waiting for release in the end times. The Nephilim were destroyed in the flood, but their spirits did not ascend to heaven, nor descend into Sheol. They were left wandering the earth, disembodied, bitter, and cursed. These wandering spirits became the evil spirits or demons that plague humanity. According to Enoch, they torment, possess, and mislead mankind. They are angry because they were never meant to exist. They have no rest, no salvation, and no home. Their hunger for flesh became a hunger for souls. These are the true demons. Not fallen angels, but bastard spirits. Though Enoch is not in the Bible, its echoes are everywhere. Genesis 6 verse 4 mentions the sons of God and giants. Jude 1 verse 14 quotes Enoch directly. 2 Peter 2 verse 4 speaks of angels, bound in chains of darkness. Jesus mentions the days of Noah as a warning of the end. Even though the canonical Bible never fully explains these stories, they appear as shadows, hints at a deeper truth that only Enoch fully unveils. The Book of Enoch was dangerous. It portrayed angels as flawed. It gave demons a different origin. It included terrifying visions of heaven and earth and described divine secrets in great detail. By the 4th century, the Church declared it heretical. It didn't fit the clean narrative of good versus evil, God versus Satan. Enoch described a world where divine beings made catastrophic choices, and humanity suffered the consequences. To maintain order, the Church buried the book. In 1947, the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered in Qumran. Among them were multiple ancient fragments of the Book of Enoch, written in Aramaic. Suddenly, a book thought lost was found, and it was far older than expected. Scholars had to reevaluate everything. The book's authenticity and ancient origins were undeniable. The truth had resurfaced, and the question remained, why had it been hidden for so long? Enoch teaches that demons hate humanity because humans can be forgiven. The Nephilim were born damned. They can never return to heaven, never find peace. They envy and hate us. They seek to possess bodies, whisper lies, cause madness, and lead us into ruin. They feed on sin, fear, and trauma. They are not metaphors. They are ancient spirits with a vendetta. Every temptation, every shadow of evil, may carry their influence. The Book of Enoch is not alone. Cultures worldwide remember similar tales. Sumerians spoke of divine beings mating with humans. Greeks had gods and demigods born from divine human unions. Hindu texts describe asuras, divine rebels punished and bound. Native American and African stories tell of giants who once walked the earth. Could this be a shared ancient memory? The truth scattered across myth and legend? Demons did not fall from heaven. They were born here. Spawned from lust, pride, and rebellion. The Church buried the Book of Enoch to protect us from its implications. But the truth has returned. And the war between light and darkness still rages. You were never meant to know this. But now you do. This is Dark Secrets. And the shadows are just beginning to speak.